For Thomas, the human was not a being in the universe, but rather was a mode of being of the universe. The human activated a dimension of the universe that was present from the beginning. When we trace the development of the universe through galaxies, planets, life, animals, and finally the human, we see that the universe has carried within itself a psychic, spiritual, as well as a physical, material dimension. If this were not so, we would have to see human consciousness as emerging out of nowhere. The human would be seen as an addendum to the universe. We experience as humans the true nature of the universe, that it is a universe of communion, subjectivity, and differentiation. These are the fundamental characteristics of the universe expressing themselves everywhere. In perhaps his most famous quote, Thomas stated, "The universe is a communion of subjects, not a collection of objects." He also said, "If we don't know this, we don't know anything." In saying this, he drew on the wisdom of indigenous people and of women, and he also felt this was the meaning, the inner meaning of the discoveries of the postmodern science of the 20th century. This matter of the universe having a psychic spiritual dimension, an inner aspect of spontaneity, creativity, purpose, and imagination, was not a minor matter for Thomas. One might say that the whole point of his work was to align the human project with the spontaneities of this inner dimension. He wrote, "Our problem is, of course, the problem of recognizing the primacy of the natural world and its spontaneous functioning in all that we do. Our own actions can be truly creative only when they are guided by these deeper spontaneities. Human administration of the universe in any comprehensive manner is far too great a task for any controlled process on the part of humans. Just as the movement of the arm to pick up and drink a cup of tea would hardly be possible if we were required to consciously manipulate each movement of the eye, the arm, the nervous system, the oxygen, and the blood flow. What we need, what we are ultimately groping toward, is the sensitivity required to understand and respond to the psychic energies deep in the very structure of reality itself. Our knowledge and control of the environment is not absolute knowledge or absolute control. It is a cooperative understanding in response to forces that will bring about a proper unfolding of the earth process if we do not ourselves obstruct or distort these forces that seek their proper expression." Thomas offers an ecstatic view of the universe. To live authentically in such a universe is to live beyond the merely rational, beyond the merely secure, beyond the claims of control, to ecstatic participation in the grand communion of existence. He says we might understand the universe primarily as celebration. The universe celebrates itself in every mode of being, and the human is that being in the universe in whom the universe celebrates itself and its numinous origins in a special mode of self-conscious awareness. He envisions the ideal of human habitat with the natural setting of trees and fields and flowering plants, of flowing streams and sea coast, and those living forms that swim through the waters and move over the land and fly through the air, a world of non-toxic rain and uncontaminated wells, of unpolluted sea coast with their fertile wetlands, the ideal of the human community integral with such a setting, even with all the severity of its demands on human occupants. He grants this as a mythic vision, yet he argues it is considerably less idealized than the wonder world vision that supports our present industrial system. Why, we might ask, was Thomas so distressed by this industrial systems? It was because through it we have changed the very chemistry of the planet. We have altered the biosystems. We have changed the topography and even the geological structure of the planet, structures and functions that have taken hundreds of millions of years to bring into existence. Such an order of change in its nature and in its order of magnitude has never before entered into either Earth history or human consciousness. Because of this, the difficulties we face are of a greater order of magnitude than that ever before encountered by the human community. Thomas acknowledges that this industrial system and vision will not quickly pass away. We are bound to it with all its beneficial as well as its destructive aspects. Only a comprehensive vision can counter its effects. Only a mythic power surpassing the mythic power of industrial paradise can redirect the creative energies of the human community. Thomas concludes, only the ecological vision we are proposing is consistent with the evolutionary processes that brought the earth and all its living beings into the state of fluorescence that existed prior to the industrial age. This vision draws its powers from the psychic energies of the universe itself. It is the dream of the earth that brought us into being and now offers itself to us to take us forward if we would not distort or obstruct those processes which seek their proper expression. Do you see it? Are you caught up in it? Is your imagination infused by? Are your creative energies caught up in the dream of the earth? As Thomas asked at the end of his book, where else would we go for guidance needed for the task that is before us? And now I know, if anyone asked me who Thomas was, or why Thomas was so important, I will say, Thomas Berry was the consummate cosmologist.